Welcome to the show. I'm John DeBona, and I'm glad you're here. This is where we cut through the noise and break down the issues affecting our country. Today, we're diving into a subject that strikes at the heart of American freedom: Project 2025 and its potential impact on our First Amendment rights. Freedom of religion, the press, voting, and personal choice are rights that built our democracy. But Project 2025 proposes changes that could seriously threaten these freedoms. Look, it's time that we demand better. Head over to your favorite social media platform and search for turnleftpac.org and join us in this fight for transparency, accountability, and leaders who actually serve the people, not their own agendas. So let's get real about what Project 2025 actually means for our freedoms. They've wrapped it up in patriotic language. But once you dig deeper, it becomes clear just how far they're willing to go. Let's start with freedom of religion. You see, freedom of religion isn't just about the right to worship, it's also about the right not to. But Project 2025 doesn't seem to respect that distinction. Project 2025 promotes a faith based government, blurring the line between religion and state and threatening freedom from government imposed religion. Kimber, welcome to the show. You came back.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me back. Sorry, I missed you guys.
Oh, absolutely. You are one of our favorite guests. Thanks for being here.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
let's dive into this. On page 142, Project 2025's chapter on faith based government suggests that core religious values should influence public policy, including education. So, how does freedom of religion include freedom from religion? And how do you think Project 2025's push for faith based government affects this fundamental right?
Dang. John, I'm telling you that this is like the craziest document I've ever read in my life. you know, I just can't understand how come there's not enough people that are researching it and reading what's going on. A lot of them are buying into this, Christian nationalism stuff, and it doesn't make any sense to me. The founders of our country, when they were very explicit when they put our documents together, they sorry.
No, I mean, you're
I was trying to
absolutely
pull
right.
up the First Amendment really quick because I just want to read this just really quick. It says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And it's right there. I mean, we have it right there. That's what they told us. Not these men were not these men that founded this country, that wrote these documents. They were not trying to build a Christian nation, because most of them were not Christians. They believed in a creator, but that doesn't mean necessarily always mean God. And if this Project 2025 goes into effect, if Donald Trump wins the election, they're going to force this upon the people. One of the problems I have with that is, I was raised a Catholic girl, not a Judeo-Christian as they call them, and it would be like there would be no like, oh, you can be a Muslim, or you could be Jewish, or you could be Catholic, or you could be whatever. It'll be, you have to follow the Christianity laws, or whatever you want to call it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, there are people in this country who are pagans, they're Jewish, they're Muslims, Buddhists. I mean, we have so many different types of religion in this country. And for what they want to implement, is for everybody to be like the same Christianity, which would take us back to like before the Protestant Catholic wars in Europe, if you really think about it.
Exactly. I mean,
How does
our country was founded
Mhm.
on the principle that people should be free to practice, right? Any belief,
Any belief?
or none at
Mhm.
all, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
especially without government interference. But what Project 2025, we are on a slippery slope because their
Mhm.
language is designed to force one belief system, just like you're talking about, on everyone, even
Right.
those who don't share that belief.
Right. So what are we going to be do back to burning witches? I mean, think about that really. Oh, we think you're a witch, so we're going to burn you. Oh, you have a
Yeah,
birthmark, we're going to burn you.
exactly. Once you endorse a core religious value in policy,
Mhm.
you open the door to discrimination. Religious
Right.
minorities or anyone who chooses not to practice a faith suddenly
Mhm.
face government imposing beliefs on them. Yeah, it's absolutely scary.
Yeah, it really is scary. And if you look at like, and you and I have talked about this off screen before, but if you look at the dollar bill, for example, on the dollar bill is the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye is like an occult uh, emblem. But there are people in this country that believe that the founders wanted us to be Judeo-Christians, and that's not the truth. That is not the truth in any way, shape, or form. Um, they wanted us to be able to have the freedom to be who and what we are and believe in who and what we want to believe in, whether it's a god or a plant or a tree. It doesn't matter,
You
you
know,
know?
now it's not just religious freedom under fire.
Mm-mm.
Project 2025 takes aim at another cornerstone of American democracy, our free press. Think about it. An independent media keeps the powerful in check. But Project 2025 wants something different. They want patriotic oversight. And if that phrase doesn't send chills down your spine, it should. We're going to talk about that more after the break.
When I ran for Congress, we flipped more Trump voters blue than any other congressional race in the country. We did this by calling out the GOP's lies and speaking truth against their $1 million attack ads. I've now partnered with Turn Left, and we're taking the fight to the extremists like Marge the Trainwreck Green, Ted Cruz, and Josh Hawley, to name a few. And I'm asking each and every one of you all to donate $25 today to the group that is absolutely helping to send these jackaloons packing. It's time to speak truth to power and turn left.
Project 2025 proposes stricter media oversight under the guise of promoting a unified national voice. This could compromise the press's ability to report freely and objectively. Kimber, on page 98, Project 2025 advocates for patriotic perspectives in media to ensure alignment with national values. Um, so tell us, the First Amendment is very clear, right, on press
Yeah,
freedom.
it is.
You
Mhm.
know,
It is. I mean, the First Amendment said, let us go back to that for just a second. It says that we are supposed to be freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
that's
If
pretty
Project
clear.
2020, it's very clear, but this document, Project 2025, says otherwise. It's not. So basically, think about this in a nutshell. So right now, we're watching as Donald Trump and JD Vance go around the country spilling lies. Every time they tell a lie, it's it's kind of like it's kind of like how Hitler, and I hate saying this, but it's kind of like how Hitler got the masses in Germany to follow him. It's just like that whole thing. Everything, if you tell a lie and the people believe it, that lie becomes the truth, their truth, anyways. Then you have the people like us who are diligent about doing our research and looking into things and finding out, hey, you know what? This doesn't make any sense. This guy's saying this, but yet this is in black and white and it's telling me this.
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah, a free press is
mhm,
absolutely essential for
mhm,
holding government accountable and providing us, the citizens, with unbiased information. And this
right.
patriotic oversight. All this sounds is like they want us, they just want to control the narrative. They're not interested in facts. They're interested in spin. And we're talking about this right now with JD Vance and Trump.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the thing is that's how Hitler rose to power. If you go back and you read your history books, that's how Hitler rose to power, was based on telling fabrications to the people, making them believe that what he was saying was the right thing. And they didn't have any way to, I mean, all the propaganda that Hitler put out, it's beyond, it's just beyond. And here he was trying to take over the whole world. Well, that's what these people want to do. They want everybody to conform to what their belief is, what their ideas are, and that's not what America's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about people being free to make decisions, the right kind of decisions, but also wrong decisions. We can make wrong decisions in life, but if we have this kind of program in place, we won't be able to have those type of freedoms. Not only that, let's talk about this a little bit further, because you got to think about, remember we had those those hearings in Congress a few years back about the false narrative being posted on some of our social media. They're going to start controlling social media to the point where it's okay to tell the fabrications and tell the lies. And that to me is like really scary, because a lot of people use Facebook and whatever that Elon Musk's thing is now. It used to be Twitter, whatever. Stupid change name.
Still stupid.
I mean, he even let Trump back on there,
Oh my
even though he
gosh.
tells lies all the time. But he's just like Trump. He's just like Trump. That's what's really sad. And if people were really paying attention, they would see that right now what's happening is you have a millionaire or billionaire, whatever he wants to call himself. He's probably not as rich as he used to be after he was fined for that case where he was talking about the woman after he was already you know so, but the thing is that Trump's running because, and he always says, oh, I have all kinds of money, but the people that are surrounding Trump, they all have money too, and they all want those tax breaks that Trump is talking about. And one of the problems is with those tax breaks is it's going to affect people like you and me, the average American citizen, because our taxes are going to go up. But what they're going to do is they're going to take and they're going to control the narrative so people will think that, oh, well, what the government or what Trump is telling me and what JD Vance is telling me is the truth, because there's not going to be any safeguards to protect us from knowing what the actual truth is.
That's the bottom line too. Um, and we've seen this throughout history. Controlled media has been a tool for authoritarian regimes.
Mm.
And this is just a classic move to silence dissent. Um, Kimber, how important do you think a free press is in keeping the government accountable, especially if Project 2025's media oversight were put in place?
Well, John, I think we're seeing right now, I think one of the things that we're seeing in America is we're starting to see people that are standing up like you and I and the others that have been on your show, and Richard, the Turn Left Pack. these groups of people are fighting back. They're saying, we're not going to take it because we're just not going to take it. We're not going to go back to the old days where we're in the dark. We want, but here's the thing is there's several news outlets or several ways you can get your news these days. Besides your social media platforms, et cetera, et cetera. You can actually download apps right now, today, that will tell you what the right is saying, what the left is saying, and what the actual unbiased truth is. And I think those things, those tools right now are very, very important, especially this year in this election. Because because it's telling you, so I know there was one, I think I heard the other day was Smart News. The one that I use is Ground News. And the thing is that I like about it is the fact that I can go on there and I can look up anything. What did Trump say over the weekend? And I will get what he actually said in the middle. It's non-biased. And I really like that. If Project 2025 goes into effect, we won't be able to get that unbiased look. And that is scary because
that is scary because the press is supposed to be the watchdog of the people. Right. And without it, government actions go unchecked and corruption.
And here's one more thing about that too, is like I said, like what the First Amendment stated about, I'm sorry, give me a sec. Prohibiting the exercise thereof of abridging the freedom of speech or the press. Basically saying that the petition that we're able to petition the government for redress and grievances. And the reason why I wanted to point that out again, John, is because if Project 2025 comes into effect, we won't be able to know what we're aggrieving. We won't be able to go and say, hey, you guys are wrong on this. This is what the people actually, we're even seeing it right now. Okay. Women in this country are dying, can't get access to health care. And why is that? Because of the false narrative behind abortion. That's why. That, and these people that, like these Trumps and these people that follow him and believe like he do, they're the ones that are in our government right now. We've got them in our Congress. We've got them in our Senate. We've got them in our Supreme Court. Sorry. And it's like,
you're exactly right, because controlled media, it creates this one-sided narrative where the truth is completely buried and propaganda prevails.
And that's the thing, is the more propaganda that's out there, it's like I feel like we're watching the rise of Hitler all over again. In 2015, 2016, I used to post like everywhere. And this is before Trump was elected, about how I thought he was the Antichrist. And I still today believe that, because the way he's rising in power is just like Hitler and let's even Mussolini. This man wants to be a dictator. He has already told us that on day one, he's going to be a dictator. He says for one day, but I don't believe that. I believe that from day one, he will be a dictator and the show's over for everybody. My daughter just over the weekend was complaining about, she says, if Harris gets into office, she says to me that she'll probably lose her house. And my response to that was, if Trump gets into the office, you will lose your house.
But the hits keep on coming. It's not enough to control what we believe or what we hear. Project 2025 wants a say in who gets to vote too. Because if you can't win fair and square, what do? You rig the rules.
Today, we have an amazing show for you. Join myself, special guests, and celebrities. What's going on, Ice-T? Andrew Yang. Somebody else was hopping on.
Oh, hold on.
What's going on, battle?
As we roast GQP Jackaloons.
He may not be a real businessman, but he is one hell of a con artist. That's what it is. That's what they got indicted for. Treason and sedition.
And it addresses the headlines of the day. They must be held accountable. Live streaming every night.
I got more time in a friggin' quarter in a friggin' combat zone than you probably got in the military.
This is Ojeda Live.
Project 2025 includes policies that could limit voting access and reshape districts, potentially infringing on the foundational right to vote. Kimber, on page 67, Project 2025 suggests restructuring voting districts for fair representation, which critics argue could lead to gerrymandering. So, voting is the cornerstone of our democracy, right?
It is.
How do you think that limiting voting access or reshaping districts to favor certain groups could impact the democratic process?
You know what, John? I'm sorry, I'm laughing. And the reason I'm laughing is because we've been actually watching it live since 2016. What is happening in this country? I mean, we already have, just like we've talked about before on the show, here in Weld County, they redistricted it so that it was so gerrymandered. And it's like, and then it was taken to court, and then the people that took them to court, they won, and so I guess they're going to have to redo it again to make sure they get an equal distribution, But we have been seeing it in different states, Texas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, in all those southern states. We have been seeing it, but we're also seeing it in a lot of these blue states as well, which is even scarier because they're trying to manipulate the process in a blue state. And I'm like going, yeah, they're the people that actually go to school and do their research and actually understand what's going on in this country. So you want to target them,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these tactics target vulnerable groups like the elderly, disabled, minorities, groups that don't support their agenda.
Exactly. And that's what's so scary about it. And here's the thing. Okay, so let's go back to the Stormy Daniels case really quick. Okay, with that Stormy Daniels case, from like the second or third day in, it was like, this guy is so guilty of election interference. It's there in black and white, and anybody can download it and read the document themselves if they don't believe what I'm saying. The same thing is with the hearings with the Congress. When they did the hearings on January 6th, it was the same thing. If you read those documents, you see it in black and white, in detail, exactly what happened and how he tried to steal the election in 2020. He's already talking about it right now, today, about not only stealing. I'm sorry, I'm on a roll.
You are. I mean, we're right into our last question about, let's talking about some of the broader consequences if we'd face if Project 2025 voting policies are implemented. So go on, continue, please.
Yeah, but the thing is like, we're seeing it right now. Okay, we are seeing it. We are watching it in real time. And they keep telling us that we don't see what we're seeing. And it's like, are ya kidding me? It's like, seriously, dude, I saw you on television. I watched you for 90 bloody minutes talk about how when, evangelicals, if you go to the polls this time, you won't have to in 4 more years because we'll have it fixed. People need to wake up. He's telling us every day that he's on stage, that he opens his mouth, exactly what he's going to do in this country. And if we don't wake up, what's going to happen is going to be so much worse, because this guy is trying to push us into a civil war. That's the bottom line. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying, because in the Declaration of Independence, it said, when your government is failing you, the people, which is we, the voters, then you have to take action. And I have a scary feeling that if Trump tries to do the same thing, and if he gets into office, there's going to be an awakening in this country like we've never seen before. It just, I don't know why. It's in the cards. I could tell you that.
Well, I guess we see what happens. You know, this whole
Mm.
agenda breeds nothing but division and amplifying some voices over others. It would destroy public faith in our electoral system. And once people stop trusting that their vote counts, disillusionment follows, and democracy as we know it starts to crumble.
And
Um,
well, you know what? That's really well said too, John, because here, think about it. I know you're out in the community as much as I am. I have talked to many voters who don't want to put their ballot in the mailbox because they're afraid that because Louis DeJoy is still in office, that it'll get draglined and it won't get there in time for the election. Luckily for us, we have vote by mail, but we don't have to use the mail. We can go to the Weld County Clerk's office and drop off our ballots. We can go to the city of Greeley, drop off our ballots. We can drop our ballots off at the colleges, in their secure boxes, and they're monitored at all times. So if somebody is afraid of putting their vote in a mailing box, then take it to where you know that it'll be safe and it'll be accounted for. The other thing that's been really great about the state of Colorado is they tell you when your ballot's been mailed and when it's been received by you. So if you are in Colorado or a vote by mail state, check your emails, make sure your ballot made it in time for the election.
Indeed. And there you have it. Kimber, thanks for joining us on the show today. You always just help us break this down in such a great way. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thanks for having me back, John. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you. And and let's just hope that we all make the right choice this year.
Indeed. So there you have it, piece by piece. Project 2025 dismantles the freedoms we hold dear: our right to believe freely, to speak openly, to report honestly, and to vote fairly. This isn't just a policy document, it's a blueprint for a power grab that could reshape America as we know it. These First Amendment rights weren't given to us as favors. They were hard won protections meant to preserve our freedom and democracy. If we don't stand up, stay vigilant, and push back, Project 2025 will be more than just a policy. It'll be a reality. And that's something we can't afford to let happen. If you want to defend your First Amendment rights, check out turnleftpac.org. Now, more than ever, staying informed and active is essential.